Ricky Hatton funeral. Thousands mourn boxer in Manchester. Liam Gallagher, Tyson Fury, and Wayne Rooney arrived at Manchester Cathedral on Friday for the funeral of former two-weight world champion Ricky Hatton. Hatton, a popular, larger-than-life character who unified the light welterweight division and also won a world welterweight title, was found dead aged 46 at his home in Hyde on September 14th. A funeral procession started on Friday morning at the Cheshire Cheese pub, Hatton's local, and was led by the famous Reliant Robin van from Only Fools and Horses. Hatton was a huge fan of the show and once bought one of the original three-wheelers for £4,000. The cortege includes stops at Hatton's boxing gym and the AO Arena, where he enjoyed some of his finest moments, the highlight indisputably being a win over the celebrated Kostyantsayu on a raucous night 20 years ago to capture his first world title. Thousands of mourners lined the streets to pay tribute to Hatton, with a private memorial service at the city's cathedral starting at midday. In attendance was Oasis frontman Gallagher, a longtime friend of Hatton who accompanied him on his ring walk once against Pauline Malignaggi in 2008. The great and good of British boxing also turned out, with Fury, Tony Bellew and Frank Bruno, as well as former England cricket captain Andrew Flintoff and former Manchester United star Rooney, arriving at the cathedral. Also among the mourners was Hatton's former trainer Billy Graham, from whom he was virtually inseparable on his journey from the amateur ranks to the top of the boxing world. Following the service, the commemorative march will head to the Etihad Stadium, the home of Hatton's beloved Manchester City. News of Hatton's death was announced just hours before the Manchester derby at Eastlands, with a minute's applause held immediately ahead of kickoff by players and fans of both City and United. Hatton's all-action style brought him 45 wins and 3 defeats from 48 contests, but it was his down-to-earth demeanor that especially endeared him to fellow professionals and fans around the world. That was evidenced by tens of thousands following him to Las Vegas, where he fought the 2-pound-for-pound greatest fighters of his era in Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, with stories of UK fans singing "There's Only One Ricky Hatton" and drinking Sin City Dry going down in boxing folklore. Hatton suffered his first professional defeat when he was stopped by Mayweather in 2007, while a vicious second-round knockout by Pacquiao 2 years later precipitated his fall from top-level boxing. A misguided comeback attempt against Vyacheslav Senchenko in 2012 marked the first public admission Hatton was struggling to cope in retirement. He was a tireless ambassador for mental health charities as well as Manchester-based Barnabas, which supports homeless and vulnerable people, and turned his hand to being a successful trainer in an attempt to fill the void. Having participated in a no-scoring exhibition against Mexico's Marco Antonio Barrera in 2022, Hatton announced in July he would return to the ring in a professional bout in Dubai in December. He had resumed training, and his family said he had been in a good place and excited for the future before his death, for which Greater Manchester Police said there were no suspicious circumstances. Eddie Hearn reveals Anthony Joshua considering Africa fight offers. Still eyeing Tyson Fury bout. Anthony Joshua is considering offers to fight in Ghana and Nigeria before a mega fight with Tyson Fury in 2026. According to Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn, Joshua, 28-4 with 25 knockouts, turns 36 next week and has not boxed since a knockout loss to English rival Daniel Dubois in September 2024. He has now recovered from surgery for an elbow injury, and Hearn said he will box again either late this year or early 2026. Martin Bakole and former WBC world heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder are reportedly in contention to be Joshua's next opponent after the biggest layoff of his professional career. Bakole, 21-2-1, 16 KOs, 33, from Congo, is an option for Joshua to fight in Nigeria and is without a win in his last 2 fights after a second-round stoppage loss to Joseph Parker as a late substitute opponent in February, and then a draw versus Efajagba in May. Wilder, the 1st of April, 44, 32 KOs, who turns 40 this month, from Alabama, recorded only his second win in 6 fights in June and expects to fight early 2026. I thought initially no to AJ fighting this year, but now possibly, Hearn told ESPN. I went to Dubai to see him, and he is really back and locked in, zoned in. Getting over the defeat took him a good few months. Then he had the injury, then he went back to camp, then he rested, but then it went again and he needed an operation, so that was another 3 months or so. It has been a really frustrating period. But when I saw him in Dubai, I just really wanted to look him in the eye and find out if he wanted a quick money grab before you call it quits. Or do you really want it? And the answer is the latter. He really wants to become three-time world heavyweight champion. That's his motivation. Hatton also went on to reveal there had been approaches made from Africa, something which Joshua wished to do before he retired from the sport. We have had an approach from Ghana and now Nigeria. I think AJ fighting in Africa would be incredible. If he fights again in February or March, he will have been out of the ring for 18 months. It's a huge amount of time to come back versus a top 10 heavyweight, but also it's Anthony Joshua, and you have got these big sight deals, so you can't just fight some random geezer who is ranked 100th in the world over 8 rounds. If he wasn't Anthony Joshua, you might actually do that, but it's very difficult to do that in his position. Joshua and Hatton's top priority is to secure a long-awaited fight with English rival and fellow two-time world champion Fury, the 1st of February, 24 KOs, who has not boxed since undisputed world heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk outpointed him for the second time. Joshua, who has also twice lost to Ukrainian Usyk on points, and 37-year-old Fury have held talks to face each other for last 5 years without a fight happening. Hatton recently held talks about making Joshua versus Fury with Turki Al-Sheikh, chairman of the General Entertainment Authority in Saudi Arabia and the most powerful figure in global boxing. I've never heard him speak about anyone like he speaks about Tyson Fury, not just wanting to fight him, but saying he can't wait to knock him spark out, Hatton told ESPN. I've never heard him talk like that before. He really wants to fight him, and really wants to beat him. But he is also looking at the division and how it is going to fragment a little bit with the belts, and also he's looking at getting active. He was saying to me, you know how some people go away on a smaller show just to get some rounds in? People go to Mexico to have a fight off the radar. That's difficult to do when you are probably the most famous boxer in the world. But when you have been out for a year or so, it's very difficult to go back into a big fight without getting that momentum. Ranking the fights in October including Parker Waterley. Boxing real or not? Boxing real or not? Gervonta Davis future. Teofimo Shakur. Dillian White backs Anthony Joshua Jake Paul fight. When we fight Fury or whoever is going to be in the big fight in 2026, we would just like to get a bit of momentum going, which is good news for fight fans because he wants to fight. He wants to.